Alright, so the next anime that we are going to be talking about is Needy Streamer Overload. And oh my god. When I tell you that this anime is a motherfucking fever dream, when I tell you this anime is a motherfucking fever dream, it's bad, man. It's bad. But it's bad in like the best way possible. Because initially I was very worried. I was very worried what Needy Streamer Overload was going to offer, what it was going to like present, what it was going to like do. And that's mainly because like, you know, I played Needy Streamer Overload like very recently. I think it was one of the first games I actually came back to play when I was streaming. And so it's kind of one of those things I sat there, I'm like, okay, what exactly does this game do? Like what it does? And it's all about like trying to keep this streamer from this upcoming streamer from basically having a mental breakdown in any sort of way, and to keep them like kind of crazy and stuff like that. So it's like a very simple premise, which is basically it's basically just a stat management game. So I was wondering, how the fuck are you gonna take this basic ass strat management game and apply it into like an anime format? What exactly are you doing for this? And I think the best way that I could explain the anime is that Needy Streamer Overload, the anime, is kind of a sequel to what the video game is. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for that. But it's kind of a sequel to what the anime is, I would assume. Because the way it treats it is because if you play the game, basically, K-Angel starts from nothing, and you help her build to something. Basically being the streamer who can like afford stuff on her own, she can do a bunch of things, she can do all this stuff, yada yada yada. You build her up to this like big fucking like level. And like I think the max is either 1 million followers or 10 million followers. I know you can get over something at a certain point. But then I think the game just ends. I know there's multiple endings, and I know there's like I don't know what it is, but if you move the camera behind from where it is, there's like a secret document. I still don't know what the fuck that is. I'd have to Google it because I'm not gonna lie, every time I play the game, I can't make it past day 15. Don't know why. I have no clue. But every time she just ups and leaves. I think I give her too much good mental health, which is really fucked to say. It's extremely fucked to say. It's insane to say. It is fucking crazy. But regardless, like, the game is basically like the up-and-coming journey. The anime is basically all of that. Like, everything after that, it feels like. And man, do they do some crazy fucking shit, man. Because the first episode is following what I would assume would actually be the main character for this, because K-Angel is sort of like the main character. You can argue that K-Angel is the main character, but she feels like more of the overall premise. I don't even know what it would be. Like, she is one of the biggest figures, both figuratively and literally, in the anime. But like, we have a full episode with her as she's like explaining her mentality when it comes to dealing with like people on social media and looking up to her, and her being like, hey, you do kind of like crazy shit, don't you think that's a problem? And it's like, I'm just living the way I'm living. It's not my fault that these people who can't take care of their kids and ignore them do that. Maybe, you know, maybe if these parents actually cared and loved their kids like they should, you know, that wouldn't have happened. And you know what? I think it's more reasonable to call K-Angel the actual protagonist for this. It's just that first episode also follows another character. No. And by the way, most of the characters here, from my knowledge, are all like anime original characters. When it comes to like the streaming group that the other character follows, the character that we're following in the very first episode, and all that stuff. And it's just all this whole idea of just like attention and life and doing something more in like more for your life. And it's like it's such a crazy interesting aspect on the way of how it's explored, because like that first episode we see that character and she works at like the cafe where it's not necessarily I wouldn't call it a maid cafe. It feels so much weirder. I forget what they call it. It's like a cafe / potential girlfriend pretend thing / maybe if you were the right person it could be like a brothel type stuff. It's so weird. It's so weird. But we see this like character that we're following in the beginning going into the maid, like going to their work, which is the cafe, but making decent money even though they're dealing with creeps. And it's like this weirder, darker side of just like, hey, like, yes, I'm pretty, I have this charm, I have this whole thing, but like I'm using it to like try to benefit myself. And then we get like all these juxtapositions of like this girl living kind of like a shitty life with her boyfriend who does not great things to her. Very not great fucking things to her. But then we get this juxtaposition of K-Angel and how like she's like, yeah, like I'm trying to give you guys all of this idea of happiness and give you guys this idea of like things are gonna be okay, and if I can make your lives a little bit easier. Like it's both uplifting and kind of like aggressively parasocial. It's like it's too much parasocial, but sometimes it also seems good, but also it's not great. I still don't know how I feel on the stance of like K-Angel as a whole in this anime, because we get like a backstory, which I don't even think we get in like the video game. Again, the video game is very, very simple. Very good, by the way. I want to say the Needy Streamer Overload video game is actually very, very good. It's just combined with how the stuff is, it feels very weird. It feels a little weird. But we get this like difference of like K-Angel being somebody who will like, you know, it's like do what you want as long as you make you happy, as long as you like have conviction in what you do, you should just fucking do it. And sometimes that could be used for good, where it's like you want to be happy, right? I advocate for people wanting to be happy, but there's no nuance to it. It's more of just, hey, if you're happy, be happy. If you're wanting to do something and you know it's gonna make you happy, if it's gonna set you free, what's necessarily stopping you? Why would you hesitate on trying to be happy? And so it's so interesting. She's also very morbid too, where she's like, yeah, I know that my prettiness has like a time limit, but I'm gonna use it to the best of my ability. It's both like this weird fantasization of dream, but also like a hard set reality of like, yeah, I know that I'm going to peter out and people are going to move on to the next thing at some point. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. But as long as I have my prettiness and as long as I have my freedom and as long as I have these people supporting me, you damn know about what, like, you know damn well I'm going to make it to the best of my abilities. K-Angel is basically how I think most streamers probably think if they were kind of being honest. Like, you know, like the type kind of like 0.001%, like the big ones who we know. Like, there's some who are like a bit honest with it too, right? I wouldn't say they're on K-Angel level, but like in the sense of like, yeah, no, like I'm who I am and what the fuck, and one day, you know, I know this is gonna be gone, but until then, hey man, I'm gonna have a fucking good ass time. That's how I feel K-Angel is, but in the most toxic yet also semi-positive way. It's super weird, because there's also situations, like in the second episode, where there's the streamer group who's like not as big as K-On, but they're very up and coming, and people are like, oh, is this group going to be a threat to K-Angel's success? Like, what's going to happen if like K-Angel like does this? Do you remember me, Nat? No, I'm sorry, Kai, I don't. Like, again, there's so many people that I try to follow, and I've only been consistent. If you can remind me who you are, I would be very much appreciative, because, you know, you coming in being like, do you remember me yet? I'm like, no. If you could help me out by remembering, that would be very nice. Yes, I do remember you from yesterday. I know you did. I did. You popped in, you spammed it. But I do remember you. I do remember you from yesterday. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. I do at least remember that much. But yeah, in the second episode, there was this like moment where, yeah, the streamer group is like up and coming, and everyone's saying like, oh, the streamer group was like, oh yeah, like we're up and coming and we're gonna throw them, but K Angel just does not seem like phased or anything. Like I know your username was Meow, but like you gotta tell me more than that, like, or like tell me something. Like maybe I can look back. I don't know if you commented on any of my stuff on YouTube, but like you gotta remind me like things that you did or stuff like that, because I can't fully remember. Like I apologize. It's been however long. I made you hit 1K with your stream. I think I remember that. I think I remember you doing that potentially. I've had a lot of streams though. I think I remember that. And I asked for your YouTube and H as if you did YouTube and I subscribed to you. Fuck, I'm trying to. I think so. If this one I hit 1K, this might have been a while. I thank you for helping me hit 1K though on one of my streams. I do appreciate it. I'm not trying to be asshole. I'm saying that I don't forget, but like. Yes, yeah. So like I'm trying to remember when that happened and when I hit 1K. I'm trying to remember, but like I do genuinely appreciate it. I do hope you know that like I do appreciate that and you doing that. It is very, very helpful. So don't think I'm an asshole in anything. I apologize for that. But yeah, they were having this like collab thing that they were doing where it was just like, oh yeah, like we're gonna collab with K Angel, but also one of the members, which I think was like one of the younger members, was a big fan of K Angel, but was also trying to be like, I'm gonna be the dethrone you, K Angel, blah blah blah. And K Angel's like, oh, why are you? But she always gets flustered and stuff like that. It's okay. Okay, well, thank you. I didn't want to seem like an asshole, so thank you for. I apologize for. I apologize for seeming if I'm an asshole, but thank you for that. I do appreciate you, regardless if I don't remember or not. I do know that you guys do help me get there, so I do actually extremely appreciate it a lot. But yeah, like, oh, I wish I remembered their names better, man. I really do. I can remember their names better. That way, I wasn't such a fucking asshole with it. But yeah, like, K Angel is on stage with that member, and like K Angel brings up a moment where it's just like, oh yeah, I remember like playing a fighting game at one point, and this like female like viewer of mine came in saying like, oh, they were like a female who liked fighting games too, and that like to her being like, oh, you remember that was me. Like you remember, like that's kind of crazy that you actually remembered that one specific thing. I also joined when you were playing FNAF. No, I do remember. I do remember you, because I know you joined yesterday. No, Friday when I was playing FNAF, and I remember this day. I remember a C and stuff like that, and like your current name. I just don't remember the Meow name very much. But I know there are a lot of people that also help me hate 1K, so that's like the issue. Oh, well, I know I had multiple FNAF like stuff. Unless you were the one that joined in like the first FNAF stream I did. It's okay. Okay, cool. I want you to know, like I'm trying my best to remember, but there are many people who have come and also gone, so I'm trying my best. But yeah, she like remembered that like name, and it was like cool, and it was like cool to see someone still remember and be impacted after like that long. And so it was just like, oh man, that's like super cool. That's like super great. Like it's fucking awesome as shit. It's again, Needy Streamer Overload is such an the way that they're taking it is such a fascinating route, because it's this show that is so, I don't want to say out of the blue. I feel like out of the blue is like the wrong way of saying it, but it's so more detailed than what the like game was. And again, I'll say it again and again and again. The game was just more of like a stats padding anime type game. So like that's all that it was. So I like how I do very much like how this anime is expanding on that like premise exponentially with it, because with the first episode following the girl and how she's looking, how like they're at the bottom, the view of like somebody up and coming group, and how like they interact, and how like they have their whole different views and feelings of it. And the third episode too, where we get that terrible backstory for K-Angel, just how she was treated and how she was like dealt with in life, how her parents would go like back and forth, how like her dad kind of introduced her to like all these things of like being into like other like, you know, being into the magical girl stuff and being into the like I'll save you, and her mom kind of taking her away from that and like what she did to her mom, and but also seeing how like she would go in school and how she like still kept that same mentality. It also shows how like, man, how shit in your early life can really fucking affect you in your like later life, and what that can do to people. It's weird because obviously K-Angel is not the healthiest person, which I very much appreciate that they did give the boyfriend a nondescript look. It's just like a black blur that looks very ominous, because realistically the boyfriend, the player that we are, does treat her very badly for who she is, because that's the manager. He gives them the medicine, they, you know, do the hanky-panky, they do all this stuff. So it is extremely nice to see that the boyfriend of K-Angel does not have a descriptor. That way, because you should never know. That person's in the background, and you should never know how they look like, how they interact, or any type of stuff like that. It's one of those things where it's just like, yep, it is disturbing as fuck. But when she goes back to like her base form with like the black hair and stuff like that, you can also see she's just like mentally unstable. She's just like extremely mentally unstable, and how like the boyfriend is like probably, as fucked up as it sounds, part of the problem, but the only anchor. It's, you know what, a lot of things in this season I feel like have like the double edge of like everything is not good or bad. It's all like things help, but they also have negatives to them. I like that. I hope we get more of that trend, because having like a good or bad can kind of get boring at times. So having more of that neutral, like, hey, we have, instead of just like good or bad, there are people that have conflicting goals, and those goals aren't necessarily good nor bad. They just affect different parties doing different things. I like that. It makes getting into characters more interesting. It makes getting into things more interesting. I like that. I think it's personally fun. I think it's personally more entertaining, and I hope that we get more of that. And I find it interesting. I would probably put now this is put a fucking not even a pinch of salt, just a fist of salt. Put a massive asterisk near this, because I'm gonna make a statement, and I don't know how much I believe in this statement, but I think Needy Streamer Overload, unironically, is up there for like a very good video game adaptation. But it's kind of in the same way that Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a really good video game adaptation, in the sense of like, it's not adaptating necessarily the game itself, rather it's adding lore to the game that makes you appreciate the game more going back to it. I personally rather these ones, because I think at this point it's just kind of hard to make like a super good video game adaptation for most things, because obviously there is the Super Mario movie, not necessarily counting Super Mario Galaxy. I haven't seen it yet, but I know people are about that. But like the only franchise that I feel like has gotten it like right on like the actual video game adaptation is like the Sonic movies, because I have never heard of at least the recent Sonic movies. People hate on those recent Sonic movies. People love those recent Sonic movies. People adore those recent Sonic movies, man. They love the fuck out of it. They think it's good. They think it's great. They think it's awesome. They fucking love it. It's fucking great to those people. So that's why I'm kind of sitting there and I'm just like, okay, that's cool. It's kind of hard to do that most of the time, because, you know, so as we've learned, video games to movies or other mediums doesn't necessarily work that well. But I think we need more of this. We need more of the Needy Streamer Overloads, and we need more of the Cyberpunk Edgerunners. The animes that are based on games, and you can attach to games, and they add lore to the games. Because I think Needy Streamer Overload, I think it is not the better anime than Cyberpunk Edgerunners, but I think it's the better example of this than Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It is the better example on expanding on a game's lore than Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Because Cyberpunk Edgerunners, it is expanding on Cyberpunk 2077, but it's also expanding on just the whole Cyberpunk thing as a whole. Because I'm pretty sure you can like add it as well into like this Cyberpunk 2077 stuff as well, but also like Cyberpunk 2047 and all the other previous Cyberpunk things that have existed with like Blade Runner and all that stuff like that, right? But Needy Streamer Overload, I think, is the better example of like the centralized game being expanded upon. It's like good in that way. And I know someone's gonna sit there and be like, oh, well, what about Steins Gate and Fate? Because those are technically visual novels that have been turned into games. The visual novels that have animes, those are different beasts, because those have actual like stories that you can follow. Not to say that Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't have an actual story, but the visual novels is called a visual novel for a reason. It's because it is a visual novel. It is basically a visual book that you have. It's not like Cyberpunk 2077. It's not like Needy Streamer Overload. That's why I think those two are very good examples of, I hope we get more of this type of interaction, this type of expanse with this shit, because this shit's really good and I want more of it. Needy Streamer Overload is so motherfucking good. Do I think it's one of the best of the season at this point? Right now, fuck. No. I was thinking if I'd put it in the top 3 for the season, probably not. I'm probably not putting Needy Streamer Overload in the top 3 for the season, because I think my top 3 would probably be ReZero, Daemons of the Shadow Realm, and Ages of the Four Seasons. I think those are my top 3, which is also funny because I remember doing a quiz talking about how I like emotional damage animes, and quite literally all of those are emotional damage animes, which is also funny because I put the Needy Streamer at 4, and that is a very emotionally damaged anime. So, do I like anime that I can feel emotionally damaged with? Yeah, kind of, sort of. It's like my thing, I guess. But I enjoy it. That's me. But yeah, man, Needy Streamer Overload. It is definitely an anime I didn't have much expectation for it, given that it was based on a video game, and it just blew me out of the water. Visually, it blew me out of the water. That opening is so goddamn good. But also, epilepsy warning for anyone watching this anime. There's a lot of Technicolor in this fucking anime. I mean, just look at the motherfucking picture that I'm using for the goddamn video. That is basically just the anime, like 75% of the time. 25%, it does get dark, does get gritty, it does get like just very dark colored normal colors, but a lot of times it is this. It is this dead ass. It is fucking intense sometimes. But overall, man, fucking really good. I'm really liking it so far, and I cannot wait to consume more of it.